Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajacharya Ashadra Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajacharya Ashtotra Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Fourth canto entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 26. King Pranjana goes to the forest to hunt. We're on text 18. Narada Vacha Paranjana Swamihi Sim Nirikshyavad Dutam Bhuvi Tatsangun Matita Jnana Vaiklavyam Paramam Yayo Narada Vacha Paranjana Swamihi Shim Nirikshyavad Dutam Bhuvi Tatsangon Matita Jnana Vaiklavyam Paramam Yaya Narada Vacha Paranjana Swamihi Shim Nirikshyavad Dutam Bhuvi Tatsangon Matita Jnana Vaiklavyam Paramam Yayo. Please chant.
is Mahishim. Puranjana Samahishim.
Puranjana Swamanishi.
Nidikshya Vadutambuvi.
Niriksha Vamatamamburi.
Tatsango Matitavjano.
Tatsango Matitavjano.
Vaiklavyam Vadamam Yayo.
Vaiklavyam Paramam Yayo. Adavacha. Puranjana Swamanishi. Niriksha Vadutambuvi. Tatsango Matitavjano. Vaiklavyam Paramam Yayo. Adavacha. Puranjana Swamanishi. Niriksha Vadutambuvi. Tatsango Matitavjano. Vaiklavyam Paramam Yayo. Adavacha. Puranjana Swamanishi. Niriksha Vadutambuvi. Tatsango Matitavjano. Vaiklavyam Paramam Yayo. Adavacha. Puranjana Swamanishi. Niriksha Vadutambuvi. Tatsango Matitavjano. Vaiklavyam Paramam Yayo.
Naradu Vacha. The great sage Narada spoke. Puranjanaha, King Puranjana, Swamihishim, his own queen, Nirikshya, after seeing, Avadutam, appearing like a mendicant, Bhuvi, on the ground, Tat, her, Sangha, by association, Anmatita, encouraged, Gyanaha, whose knowledge, Vaiklavyam, bewilderment, Paramam, supreme, Yayo, obtained. Translation. The great sage Narada continued, My dear King Prachinibarhi, as soon as King Puranjana saw his queen lying on the ground, appearing like a mendicant, he immediately became bewildered. Purport. In this verse, the word Abudutam is especially significant, for it refers to a mendicant who does not take care of his body. Since the queen was lying on the ground without bedding and proper dress, King Puranjana became very much aggrieved. In other words, he repented that he had neglected his intelligence and had engaged himself in the forest in killing animals. In other words, when one's good intelligence is separated or neglected, he fully engages in sinful activities. Due to neglecting one's good intelligence or Krishna consciousness, one becomes bewildered and engages in sinful activities. Upon realizing this, a man becomes repentant. Such repentance is described by Narottam Das Thakur. Hari Hari Vipale Janma Gananu Manusha Janma Pai Radha Krishna Na Bhajiya Janiya Shunya Vishekano. Narottam Das Thakur herein says that he repents for having spoiled his human life in knowingly drunk poison. By not being Krishna conscious, one willingly drinks the poison of material life. The purport is that one certainly becomes addicted to sinful activities when he becomes devoid of his good chaste wife, or when he has lost his good sense and does not take to Krishna consciousness. Omigyanativedandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshulanmalitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karidvachalam Pangam Nangayate Girim Yakripatamaham Bande Shri Gurun Diditadam Bancha Kapladribhishcha Kripa Sindhubevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gauda Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'll read the translation once again. The great sage Narada continued, My dear King Prachinibarhi, as soon as King Pranjana saw his queen lying on the ground, appearing like a mendicant, he immediately became bewildered. So the happiness that one can obtain in material existence through material enjoyment, it is said to be like a drop of water in the desert. So, in other words, it's not able to quench one's thirst for enjoyment. So there's a certain amount of thirst for enjoyment that every soul has. We are pleasure-seeking beings, and that thirst can never be satisfied with material enjoyment, however hard one tries, because the substance is just not there. It's not there, and therefore that example, just like in the desert, okay, you get a drop. It's almost like it's actually like punishment. You want a certain amount of happiness, but you only get very, very little, like practically nothing. And you could say that's why people are frustrated. Wonder, why is there so much frustration in the world? There's a lot of frustration in the world, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, because people aren't able to satisfy themselves or become happy, because they're trying to be happy by just a little drop of water. Just like if, let's say, you're stranded out in the desert and you're somehow they got stranded, your friend threw you out. He was mad at you, threw you out on, get out of here, I'm sick of hearing you, whatever. Just get out of the car. So he puts you out in the car. I mean, people do stuff like that, actually. People do all types of stuff, so I'm sure it happened before. So get out of the car. And then you're just stranded there. There's like, not many cars going by, or they say no cars going by, 200 miles walking, to the next town trying to get there. Of course, it's hot, and you're in the desert. And then somebody drives up in their Mercedes-Benz, and they, hey, how you doing? You need some help? And the, person's out there, yeah, I do need some. I'm stranded out here, I'm thirsty and I need help. So the guy says, okay, and then he pulls out his bottle of Fiji water, and then he, pours little water in the cap, and then he goes, oh, here you go, buddy. And then he takes off in his Mercedes-Benz, Now, how would a person feel? Okay, first of all, that person's cruel. But still, out in the desert, you can get a little cap of water from the Fiji bottle. I mean, it's just not going to satisfy. So, but nonetheless, due to lack of intelligence, due to bewildered intelligence, as it's been stated here, one tries to do that. And Prabhupada says that when one's good intelligence is separated or neglected, he fully engages in sinful activities. So it's a full-on, it's a full throttle program. They want to really engage their senses. Just like Glenn, I saw some guy yesterday when he was, I think, walking to Maharaj's place to drop off Bajranayan Swami's mail, and some guy, waved, said, "Oh, Hari," or said, "Hare Krishna," something like that. The guy. So then Glenn said, "Oh, Hare Krishna." And then the guy turned around, and he wasn't like a homeless guy. He was a, normal working guy and Pacific Beacher. And the guy said, yeah, I read Prabhupada's books before, and where did he say? He went to a temple in India. He said he went to some temples in India, and he said, but I've decided to engage myself fully in the process of sense enjoyment and sex life. That's what he told him. And then he said, yeah, I read Prabhupada's books, but I think he appreciated them to some degree. But he said, yeah, I just didn't like how Prabhupada was always kind of what he had to say about women and sex life, but everything else, So, anyways, Glenn told him very straightforwardly, which is good. He said, well, you're engaging yourself like that, but you're going to have to suffer for that. You're going to have to undergo some pain, right? Two sides of the coin. You got material enjoyment, and then material suffering. So you're going to have to suffer. And I don't think it exactly registered. Maybe later we'll see. Registers in the guy's brain, but the guy said, yeah, I'll if I'm not busy on Thursday night, he said trying to pick up some woman or something. He said, yeah, I'll stop by the lounge and check it out. So it's good. Yeah, he wants to come to the lounge. It's hopefully he wear a mask. So yeah, when a person's intelligence is bewildered, then they just, what else is there? That's all that exists. The world's just full of opportunities for material enjoyment. That's what they see. So the Vaishnava perspective, or the perspective of the Bhagavatam, that this is a very sad situation, in that it is considered a waste of the human form of life. And upon realizing this, a man becomes repentant. So in other words, the time they spent engaged in these sinful activities, however much time it was, whether it was 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whether it was someone was spending a lot of their time engaging in Krishna consciousness, but some of their time engaged in sinful life. In other words, they weren't fully in Krishna consciousness. They weren't maintaining as they should. They lament. A good person laments. In this song is there, Hari Hari Vifale Janmagan. This is, Prabhupada was asked, what's your favorite song by Yamuna Devi? And Prabhupada said, he quoted this song, this is my favorite song, from Narottam Das Thakur. And there's many wonderful recordings of Prabhupada singing this song. So in this song, so we just read through it, because it's quoted here. There's many wonderful points brought up. But one of the points, anyways, we'll read. And it says, O Lord Hari, this is Ishta Devi Vigyapti, prayer to one's beloved Lord from Prarthana, from Narottam Das Thakur. O Lord Hari, I have wasted my life. Although I have taken this rare human birth, I have not served Radha and Krishna, and thus I have knowingly drunk poison. The treasure of divine love in Goloka Vrindavan has descended as the congregational chanting of Lord Hari's holy names. So, Goloka Prema Dan Harinam Sankirtan. Why did my attraction for that chanting never come about? Ratina Janmilo Kenatai. Day and night, my heart burns in the fire of the poison of worldliness, and I have not accepted the means for relieving it. Lord Krishna, the son of the king of Raj, became the son of Shachi, and Balaram became Nitai. The holy name delivered all those souls who were lowly and wretched. The two sinners, Jagai and Madai, are evidence of this. So it's saying that the congregational chant of the holy names descending from the spiritual world, And why haven't I developed attraction for this? My heart is burning day and night by the poison of worldliness, and I have not accepted the means to relieve it. Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Shachi, and Balarama became Nitai. So it says the holy name delivered all those souls who were lowly and wretched. And who's the evidence? So you say, oh, well, what's the evidence for this? The evidence is Jagai and Madai. They're evidence of this. Which a lot of the times you describe the activities of Jagai and Madai, and nowadays, and people are like, don't seem like too bad of guys. I mean, of course, there's certain things that, most people, and we hope all people would say, oh, it's too much. But, you say, oh, they were drunkards. And it's like, oh, well, my dad was a drunkard. My dad is a drunkard. Or womanizer. Oh, yeah, my dad was a womanizer too. Whatever it is, womanizer, drunkard, all the other things that we're doing. So, but, yeah, they're the examples. And as Srila Prabhupada would say, and as devotees say, that everyone is more or less like Jagai and Madai. So the holy name can deliver them. And is delivering them. O Lord Krishna, son of Nanda, accompanied by the daughter of Vrishabhanu, please be merciful to me now. Narottam Das says, O Lord, please do not push me away from your reddish lotus feet, for who is my beloved except for you? So this is Srila Prabhupada's favorite song. So here we see that Narottam Das Thakur, he's lamenting. So there's some of the younger devotees or newer devotees, you know this, I guess by newer I mean, anyways. There's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita that talks about lamentation, that we shouldn't lament. Does anyone remember that? Sanskrit? Starts with a B. Yeah, Brahma Bhuta, yeah, what is it? You here can you give the mic? We'll see your Sanskrit. We have the referee, the Sanskrit referee, Dravida Prabhu here, so gotta be careful.
It's Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Na Shuchti Na Kangshati Samasarveshu Bhuteshu Madbhaktim Labadhe Param.
Yeah. That's 1854, so Bhagavad Gita. One who is thus transcendently situated, here's the translation. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state he attains pure devotional service to me, unto me. So, also for younger so what's going on with this? We see Narottam Das Thakur, he's lamenting. But here in the Bhagavad Gita it says you shouldn't lament. So what's going on with that, Alex? You have the mic. Or anybody else, I don't want to put you on the spot. But you could, if you like, you could say something. I don't know if that thing's on. Sorry.
Neither hanker for nor lament over, lost sense gratification or dissatisfied sense gratification.
Yeah. One should not lament. So the difference is, as Rajananda Prabhu said, one should not lament over lost sense gratification or if only I would have done this, I would have gratified my senses better. I would have been more happy. So, the Narottam Das Thakur's lamentation, it's spiritual, and it's due to him feeling and experiencing that, I've wasted my life. I haven't worshipped Radha and Krishna. Why has this happened to me? So it's different. So the conditioned souls, they're heavily lamenting. Brahma, they're not experiencing this Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Manashochana, joyful and not lamenting and not hankering. They're hankering and they're lamenting. Hankering for what they don't have, and lamenting for what they could have had, or no? How does that work? Yeah. So So yeah, we're not supposed to engage in that process of hankering and lamenting, and on the material platform. But sometimes devotees also fall into this hankering and lamenting business, which is not a good business. You're not going to profit much from it. We're not going to profit much from it. Like, for example, you have some devotees who have dedicated their youth to Krishna, which is great. I mean, it's wonderful to dedicate your youth. That's the best. Because why? Because those are seen to be the prime years where one can try to enjoy this world. So if you could dedicate that to Krishna, that's the most wonderful thing to do. And yeah, there's Prabhupada disciples who have done that, dedicated their youth. And after grand disciples of Prabhupada, so it's going on. People are dedicating their youth. But sometimes, whether it's Prabhupada disciples or whether it's grand disciples of Prabhupada, they lament that, oh, I spent the best years of my life in a temple. I could have been doing so many things, right? It's a misconception. Like there was one brahmachari in America, and he was visiting here one time, and he was on the patio, and I was having lunch with him, and he moved out of the ashram, and he was telling me that, oh, you really have to, you really have to think, what you're doing in your life, and you don't want to end up like me. I spent so many years in the ashram, and now I'm in my 30s, and I just, and now I'm in a tough spot. So you don't want to be like me. And Tirthamaj was sitting upstairs, and he was hearing what he was saying, and he came down immediately, and he came out of this side door here and went on the patio. He didn't like what he was saying. He thought what he was saying was nonsensical. So anyways, he came out, and then the course of the conversation changed. And then this devotee used to be a brahmachari, he got up and he left, and myself and Tirthamaj were speaking. He said, yeah, I was hearing what he was saying, and I just couldn't tolerate it. I just thought it was such a wrong conception. It was just not right what he was saying. And me, I don't know, maybe I'm stubborn, and I actually am stubborn in so many ways, but I was hearing him, and as far as I remember, it didn't affect me. I just, that's his opinion, and whatever, But there was a younger devotee there, younger brahmachari, and that Tirthamaj was telling me, I hope it doesn't affect him. And it did. It did affect him, because he told me later that, when that devotee spoke, that I actually got kind of, messed with my mind, But this brahmachari, this devotee who used to be a brahmachari and moved out, he was saying, I spent so many of my years, and now I'm in a tough spot. If I would have, I had a job opportunity, but they didn't want to accept me because of my age. So if I would have, got going a little earlier, I would have got that good job. But Tirthamaj is saying, so what? I mean, where you are, what you have become, which, he's a good devotee. Just was kind of dealing with those mind issues, but he was actually a good devotee in many ways. So Tirthamaj is saying, where you are, in other words, your strength and your character has developed from Krishna consciousness. You owe so much to Krishna. You owe so much to Prabhupada, so much to the Hare Krishna movement, and you're complaining that you lost out on a job, which is a bad conception. And then, anyways, so we shouldn't lament like that. Okay, some years pass, and I really wasted my time there. I missed out on some opportunities. Yeah, you did miss out on some opportunities, but you gained opportunities as well, and you have become who you are from giving up certain material opportunities and engaging in those spiritual opportunities in Krishna consciousness. And if one can understand that, then they need some mercy from the spiritual master in Krishna. They need to purify themselves. They need to try to understand that. It's an important point. And Srila Prabhupada, he very much appreciated people dedicating their youth. I mean, it is the most glorious thing if someone could dedicate their youth. And like Prabhupada, he was I think it was in London, and it's to the later years, maybe 76 or 77. But Prabhupada got a letter from Siddha Swarupananda, one of Prabhupada's disciples, and then Prabhupada was saying that, this disciple Siddha Swarupananda was saying that, oh Prabhupada, I hope when you think of Hawaii that you sometimes think of me, you know, and then Prabhupada said, oh well, I mean, how can I not think of you? You know, he said, I'm always thinking of you. So in other words, Prabhupada was appreciating whatever he did in Krishna consciousness, even though others may have not been appreciating, because there were some who wasn't appreciative of some of the things this devotee was doing. So by engaging whatever time we can, and in Krishna consciousness, we don't lose at all, but we gain. And we should never lament that. You know, oh, I lost out on material opportunities. We should have no regrets in relation to this. Like, we're sitting in Bhagavatam class right now. Prabhupada would say, oh, we invite people to come for class and they don't want to come. Why? Because they say, oh, well, how is it going to profit me? I'm not going to be able to make any money. I mean, that's what they think. So the conception of Krishna consciousness is that the real progress that needs to be made in human life, as is being stated here, Narottam Das Thakur is stating that the real progress is that we learn how to dedicate our whole life to this rare human birth, to Radha and Krishna, to serve them. Or else it's just like drinking poison. It's just like drinking poison. Knowingly drunk poison. So this, Goloka Harinam Sankirtan, descending from the spiritual world, and why didn't I develop attraction for it? So, and then by not developing attraction for it, then what does that mean? That means our heart will always be burning with this, it says right here, right? Samsara Visha Anale, in the fire of the poison of worldliness. I mean, worldly desire is always burning, never peaceful. Just like Prabhupada said, talking about the opulence of America. And, Prabhupada would say different things in different, at different times about the opulence of America. But he would say, on one particular occasion, he would say, oh, what's their opulence? He said, they don't even have a moment's peace of mind. So they're always burning. Like a heart, you get heartburn sometimes, suffering conditions, are always suffering. So the Narottam Das Thakur is saying that we should take the remedy. There's a remedy. Just like there's a remedy for all types of diseases, there's a remedy. And the remedy is Harinam Sankirtan, engaging in the chanting of the holy names, which will deliver us as it delivered Jagannath and so many others. So this is a very beautiful song by Narottam Das Thakur, and he's teaching us. Srila Prabhupada said that all of these songs, they're considered, Shastra, scripture, and that we could learn from them and sing them and meditate on them and, really learn a lot. So and we want to develop and purify our intelligence, which Devamrita Swami, he gives this example that you have anyways, he referred to Maya as like as a pushing agent. She's always pushing. Of course, Srila Prabhupada referred to as well. But as pushing agent means she's pushing you towards Krishna. And you have Krishna there inviting us into his association. So So in other words, if we're not if we're not satisfied with our level of Krishna consciousness, which we shouldn't be, we should never be satisfied with our level of Krishna consciousness, but if we're lamenting, oh, my intelligence, my mind, or I can't control my senses, this, that, so many things. Okay, so what's the conclusion? Oh, maybe I should just give up. No, the conclusion is we have to go deeper. Deeper into Krishna consciousness, deeper into the chanting. There's like superficial chanting. There's a little deeper chanting, a little deeper. You go really, really deep into the kirtan, into the japa, into the reading. It's amazing how deep a person could go if they're if they get the mercy of Krishna and the spiritual master and the devotees, and if they're really endeavoring, they could go really, really deep. And that's what's necessary, actually. That's how our intelligence becomes purified. Oh, why isn't my intelligence purified? Okay, it may not be to the degree we want it. All right, we'll go deeper, and then it will be kind of like deep cleansing. Oh, why isn't my heart clean as much as I need it to be or want it to be? Okay, well, you're doing some scrubbing, or you're purifying through the chanting. Okay, we'll chant more intensely, and then it will. So, all right. Does anybody have any? Yes. Orange hand man. No, I'm just joking. Damodar Kumar Prabhu. It will go away eventually.
Alex was telling me yesterday that he caught me red-handed. I was like, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Just a comment on thanks for the class, but we spoke on dedicating our youth.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how the sign of the times from the 70s till now, the progression of youth activity picking up a lot earlier, just in terms of getting into the whole scene of, sex, drugs, rock and roll, like that.
Yeah, it's a lot earlier.
The greatest. That was the whole lifestyle and theme of the 70s. And then even till now, I think I was speaking to one of the brahmachari, and he was explaining how, it's, we entered the dark side. We didn't come to Krishna consciousness as pure with pure hearts and never done anything like that. But we experienced the other side, and he said, "Well, we already did that so much that, we're over it."
Yeah.
And so it's interesting how we kind of burnt that out of our systems to the point where it wouldn't attract us like the person who wouldn't have done it and then is tempted by it. Of course, the anartha still exists. Maya is also can tempt us as well. It's have us fall back into our old activities, whatever. But I just thought that it's interesting how people may say, like you're saying, there could be some lamentation, and it really depends on a person's perspective. But if somebody says that, hey, you're dedicating your youth, you're 19, you're 21, you're whatever age, live it up. What are you doing with your life?
Well, I already lived it up.
But the thing is, we're not missing out on. We already experienced that for many of us, and the other thing is that because the process of Krishna consciousness is so beautiful, it's like we can dovetail all those propensities.
Yeah.
We don't go out and party and whatnot, but we do have amazing festivals.
Yeah.
We don't go out and eat, but we have Ahafili Mahaprasad. We don't get high on drugs, but we have the highest drug, the Maha Mantra.
Yeah.
We don't hang out so much with materialists, but we have Vaishnav Sangha. And so it's like, people think that we're losing because we're giving up so many things, but the way I see it is that we've only redefined all the activities that we were already doing.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I remember there was this person, and they were taking some interest in Krishna consciousness, and she was saying that, oh, well, I don't know if I want to take the Krishna consciousness because I want to get married, and I want to travel the world, and I want to be an artist. And I was thinking, well, it's 99.99% of the devotees are married, for one. there's so much art going on. I mean, in the Hare Krishna world, I mean, there's so many ways to, paint pictures of Krishna ad infinitum or whatever. There's so many little artistic things one could do. And in terms of traveling, I mean, I haven't known any number of, I haven't known a group of people that travel more than devotees. You see this devotee, oh, there he is in Spain, and oh, there he is in Florida. Oh, there, it's like, where is he? They're every, and a lot of devotees doing that. Not just sannyasis. Like a lot of movement going on. Hopefully, they're anyways. But so, yeah, Hare Krishna movement. We need some people to, but so yeah, we could, all these things are replaced by higher engagement, param drishva navartate, right? Higher happiness. And also, like you're saying, there is something to it that if one has experienced certain aspects of material life, then they may not be, they may be able to do without. Of course, they need that higher engagement in order to become steady and, give those other things up completely. But Prabhupada did comment on something like that. He said that, I'm sure he did many times, but at least this particular circumstance, he said that, someone said about, well, what about your disciples? Won't they become bewildered by like material opulence and money and stuff like that? Because sometimes in a movement you have leaders and people in the movement, religious movements and so many movements, they become bewildered by money because there's a lot of money coming in. Religious organizations, they get a lot of money coming in. So will they become bewildered by that? And Prabhupada was specifically talking about, because largely ISKCON was within America and European countries when Prabhupada was. So he said, "Oh, well, my American and European disciples, they all come. They had material opulence, so they're not going to become bewildered. It's not going to be a problem." So that was nice. Anyways, so yeah, you have.
Thank you. That was very nice.
Thank you.
Hearing that discussion with Prabhu who was lamenting, it reminded me that not so long ago we heard, I think it was from Chandaka Pandit, if anyone gives up the temporary for the eternal, they lose. Yeah, it's a
lose
fact.
both. Yeah.
No, wait, that was wrong. If you give up the temporary for the eternal, then yeah, you do lose your temporary, maybe something material life, but you get eternal benefit. But
yes.
If you give up eternal for the temporary, then you lose both of them.
Yeah.
Because you're going to lose temporary anyway.
Yeah.
And the other thought that came to mind, a couple things. He doesn't understand karma. You're going to get what you deserve anyway, not a penny more, not a penny less. And the other thing is, where do you think money comes from? It's not from the sweat of the brow. It's from the past dharma or pious activities you perform. So if you're dissatisfied with what your allotment was in this life, that activity of Krishna consciousness is going to be money in the bank, where if that's your desire, you're going to get money next life. Got to be careful what you want.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Ishopanishad says Krishna is the self-sufficient philosopher fulfilling everybody's desire since time immemorial. So you have to be careful what you ask for. So yeah.
I wanted to point out this song that you mentioned that Prabhupada liked so much. The name of the song is something Vigyapti. Someone can remember what that is.
Yeah.
And I got it right here. Yeah, Ishta Devi Vigyapti. Now this Vigyapti is a submission of an appeal, like you submit an appeal. We have in the Nectar of Devotion, under the heading Submission, a series of an explanation of what that is. But I think the editor didn't really understand what submission is. Prabhupada wasn't talking about submission, like the submission is part of we submit to the Lord, but submitting an appeal. But what I wanted to mention is there's three kinds.
Yes.
Remember that? And what we read here in this song, and what we and Bhaktivinoda songs, a lot of them, other kinds. They're called Dainya Bodhika. Dainya means is like wretchedness. Dina Hina, right? Dina Hina, that Krishna is very merciful to those who have no property, who are Dina. Ai Dina Dayardanata Hate is a famous verse like that. So that Dainya one is assessing one's own life and describing how unqualified you are. I wasted my own life. Bhaktivinoda says, I spent my whole life getting this material education and just, like that. And sometimes it's just Dainya, but oftentimes there's a prayer at the end, And what this is a species of, in the Western religion, you have confession. You're supposed to have confession, right? And then the implication is you're praying not to sin again like that, but it's become kind of corrupted, sin and confess, sin and confess. That doesn't work. So, but this is important for us, is that because all of us, you struggle to be strict and sadhana and everything, and you may not be perfect. But if you come before Krishna and said, I'm trying so hard, but I'm unqualified, I can't do it, please empower me to become stricter, to give this up and so forth. That's a species of Dainya. Or you can adopt things like these songs and get into the mood of the song. Here's this exalted devotee, Narottam Das Thakur, who's taking this mood and feeling this way and showing us how we can pray to kick out all of, what our disqualifications and our weaknesses and so forth. Otherwise, you can get into the mood, I tried it, but I couldn't do it. A friend of mine saw a devotee, I won't mention any names. This was a few months ago in a store, devotee, an old devotee, a Prabhupada disciple. Says, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. And he get Hare Krishna. So how you doing? Well, the process didn't work for me. Krishna consciousness didn't work for me. In other words, you can get back into Maya so deeply that you really consider that, it's the process, it's not me. So it's important to stay in that mood of assessing oneself, seeing our shortcomings, which are always there, and presenting them to Krishna, please, cure me. That's the mood of this Dainya Bodhika. So it's good. If you look at the Nectar of Devotion, that sense of submission, you'll see these three kinds of important sections.
So there's Dainya Bodhika, and then there's
some Prarthanatmika, very feeling offering prayers. It doesn't necessarily have that thing. And then there's Lala Shamayi, which is a very advanced stage where you're actually praying for a certain perfection in devotional service.
Yeah. So there's Dainya Bodhika, as Javita Prabhu just said, and there's Lala Shamayi, which you're praying for very let me with the Chamara.
Yeah, that type of thing.
Radha Krishna.
It's mentioned by Vishwanath Chakravarti in his commentary. I think on the Bhakti Samrita, where it appears that this stage is meant for those who have already
on Bhava. Yeah. It was quite amazing because the Tulsi song we sing in the morning, it's one of those prayers, Lala Samayi. I mean, of course, there's some aspects of the Dainya, wretched, please, But yeah, it's
Robert gave it to us from the beginning.
Yeah, and that song is for those who are on Bhava, so it's quite amazing, and yeah,
we can inspire.
But specifically, it's saying here that
that kind of prayer,
is sang by those who are on the level of Bhava, because you're praying, isn't it?
Lala Samayi prayer, submitting a Lala Samayi prayer, is appropriate in the stage of perfect liberation, which is technically called Sarup Siddhi.
Yeah.
So, but still, but Prabhupada gave it to us.
Yeah, Prabhupada gave it to us, and of course, to think we're we're trying, to develop that, But it's interesting that Prabhupada gave it to us, and I was listening to a lecture by Tamal Krishna Goswami, and he was saying how he was having a conversation with Sridhar Swami, Srila Prabhupada's disciple. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciple, Sridhar Swami, and Sridhar Swami was saying how what's his initials before it's Yeah, B.R. B.R. Sridhar Swami, yeah. Bhakti Rakshakar Sridhar. So he was saying that how Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said that he didn't even institute that song in the morning program because that was very advanced, you know. But he was saying how it was amazing how our Srila Prabhupada instituted it in the morning. So, interesting. I think Glenn had a comment or a question. He's going to share with us some.
I just wanted to add the same person I was speaking to. You were talking about hankering, lamenting, and we don't even have a moment's peace of mind. He said every time he would try to close his eyes and meditate, an incident happened 10 years ago, and he can't get over it. So he gets angry every time he tries to control.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And another thing, he did read Prabhupada's books, and he said even if he is doing all these sinful activities, he doesn't mind being born as a dog again.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
So
he read all Prabhupada's books, and then he says that, oh, I don't mind being born as a dog. And one time that actually a man in the audience said that to Prabhupada, oh, Prabhupada, you know, you said that if I engage this, you know, I'll be a dog, you know, but to tell you the truth, I don't mind if I be a dog. And Prabhupada said, okay, you have my full blessing, you know. But yeah, this guy, can you imagine? He said that every time he closes his eyes and to meditate, he thinks about a particular incident that happened 10 years ago. Where actually, because Glenn was telling me yesterday that one of his friends ran off with his girlfriend, something like that. Yeah, lamentation. So can you imagine that every time you close your eyes, I mean, sometimes we have a hard time to close our eyes and, you know, our mind's going this way or that way or something, at least for myself. But it's, you know, but to have that happen all the time, like that's, yeah.
I have a question.
Oh, Jamal has a question.
So we were talking about, you had mentioned the verse in the Bhagavad Gita. I don't know all the
Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma.
Yeah, Nashochiti Nakanshiti. And Rajendrananda Prabhu had expanded on it, saying that is not, because you were talking about the devotee who was saying, oh,
yeah,
I could have had this opportunity.
Yeah.
And then Rajendrananda Prabhu in his comment had mentioned that we don't earn things by the sweat of our brow, but by our past activities. And I was thinking of the verse in Nectar of Instruction, just not over-endeavoring, not for too much for mundane things. But I'm curious, how does one know like how much endeavor is too much endeavor? Because that may be different for different people. Like some people may say, oh, yeah, it's different for different people, different levels of output of energy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so how do you know?
Well, the first thing that came to my mind, which is, but there's a purport in the Bhagavatam where it says that Krishna gives the spiritual master unlimited intelligence to guide the disciple. So, under consultation of the guru, then of the Diksha Guru, Shiksha Gurus, then one should know that, okay, if I'm endeavoring too much or not, you know. They say, okay, I'm endeavoring too much. So yeah, that's there. But it's like for example, people think, okay, well, I'm going to make a lot of money, and then I'm going to donate it to Krishna, and I'm going to work really hard. So then they work really hard, they make a lot of money, but then they just continue like that to get absorbed, and you know they forget about Krishna. So the basic principle is that you shouldn't be working so hard, whereas you forget about Krishna, you know. So in other words, you should try to change the circumstance around. But yeah, the thing is, like each individual case is completely different, you know, with certain like type of mind, certain type of. So it's very difficult to give like a sweeping, you know, statement of how to completely know, but through mutual consultation, it should be very clear. And also within oneself, you know, they should do some self-reflecting. Am I over-endeavoring too much? You know, be honest with themselves and, you know, ask Krishna, and, you know, things will be revealed. So, Yeah. All right. Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.